Be me, I am Alex, a senior account manager at Apex Marketing Group. My job is to keep our largest clients happy, which means I navigate a minefield of digital campaigns and tight deadlines daily. My team handles the lifeblood of this company, the high-value retainer accounts that pay the bills. We are good, we are efficient, we have systems that work even if they cost a bit. Be not me, Brenda, Regional Director. Freshly transferred from a failing division, Brenda believes in synergy and optimization above all else. Mostly, she believes in cutting costs to make her quarterly bonus look robust. She has a smile that never quite reaches her eyes and a voice that drips with condescending corporate jargon. She sees people as numbers and expenses. Brenda arrived like a wrecking ball in a china shop. Our department ran like a well-oiled machine powered by Client Nexus, our enterprise-grade client relationship management or CRM system. It was expensive, yes, but it was secure, reliable, and integrated seamlessly with all our reporting tools. Our clients trusted us with their sensitive data through this system. Her first major decree, delivered with an unsettling cheerfulness, was that Client Nexus was bloated. It was inefficient. It was a drain on our operational velocity. I remember standing there in her aggressively minimalist office, the scent of fresh paint barely masking the underlying staleness of corporate decay, listening to her pronounce its doom. She announced we would be switching to Pinnacle Connect. It was a cheaper, cloud-based solution that, according to Brenda, offered agile scalability and disruptive innovation. My research confirmed it was a glorified spreadsheet with a shiny, unfinished user interface. It lacked basic security features. Its data encryption was rudimentary at best. I tried to explain the risks to her in a meeting. I brought printouts of the Apex Marketing Group's own data security protocols. I highlighted the Service Level Agreement, or SLA, clauses we had with our major clients, clauses that explicitly required robust data encryption and uptime guarantees that Pinnacle Connect could not meet. Brenda just waved her hand dismissively, her manicured fingers gleaming under the fluorescent lights. She said I was resistant to change and stuck in legacy paradigms. She accused me of being a barrier to progress and hinted that my department's budget would reflect my lack of enthusiasm. Her smile tightened, and I felt a cold dread begin to settle in my stomach. A week later, Brenda demanded that we streamline our physical server backups for Client Nexus. She claimed the current system, which involved off-site, encrypted drives swapped daily, was an unnecessary expenditure. She wanted us to use a single shared network drive, accessible by anyone with basic departmental credentials. I argued again. I pointed out that this violated not only our internal data security policy, but also several ISO 27001 standards we prided ourselves on maintaining. I showed her the section in the employee handbook about data integrity and disaster recovery. Her eyes glazed over. She accused me of trying to inflate my budget. Brenda simply bypassed me. She sent a direct email to our junior IT technician, a fresh graduate named Chloe, instructing her to reconfigure the backup schedule. Chloe, eager to please and unaware of the full implications, complied. I found out when I noticed the backup drives hadn't been rotated in 3 days. The incident report I filed went straight into Brenda's digital shredder. The third interaction that really set the stage was her demand for aggressive client onboarding. She wanted us to cut the standard 2-week client data validation process down to 48 hours. This process involved meticulous cross-referencing of client-provided data with our existing internal records and running automated integrity checks. This was crucial for setting up their campaigns correctly and preventing billing errors. Cutting it was a recipe for disaster. I showed her our client onboarding documentation, which explicitly stated the minimum validation period. I explained the downstream impact on campaign performance and client satisfaction. Brenda, however, was fixated on her time-to-market metrics. She claimed that faster onboarding meant she could report higher quarterly client acquisition numbers, which directly impacted her bonus. She dismissed my concerns as fear-mongering. She ended the discussion by stating, "Alex, If you can't get this done, I'll find someone who can. That was the breaking point, the major incident. Brenda bypassed me again, sending a direct order to my team, dictating a hard cutover to Pinnacle Connect. This wasn't a slow migration. This was an abrupt switch. Every active client account, every past campaign, every sensitive piece of data had to be transferred from Client Nexus to Pinnacle Connect by Monday morning. This gave us a single weekend. The scale of the task was physically impossible. We had over 50,000 active client accounts, each with years of historical data. The Pinnacle Connect migration tool was notoriously buggy, known to corrupt data during bulk transfers. There was no training provided, no parallel operation period, just a command: migrate everything and make it snappy. I confronted Brenda. I laid out the impossibility of the task, the sheer volume of data, the unreliability of Pinnacle Connect, the lack of resources, the catastrophic risk of data loss. I explained that a forced migration like this, without proper staging and testing, would violate every single service level agreement we held. "Alex," she said, leaning back in her chair, a smirk playing on her lips, "this is a test of your team's agility. It's about leveraging our new dynamic platform. If you encounter issues, you simply aren't trying hard enough. Failure is not an option." She then stated very clearly that if any client accounts were disrupted, the responsibility would fall squarely on my shoulders for improper management of the transition. The trap was set. Brenda intended to make me the scapegoat for her cost-cutting disaster, but I was done arguing. My blood ran cold, but my mind sharpened. I looked at her, nodded slowly, and walked out of her office. The switch flipped. I went into read-only mode. From that moment on, every interaction was recorded, every instruction meticulously documented. My master plan began to unfurl. First, I activated the automatic recording on my desk phone for all incoming and outgoing calls related to the Pinnacle Connect migration. Every email, every instant message from Brenda or anyone on her behalf was immediately archived in a separate, encrypted folder, cross-referenced with timestamps. I began making sure all communication with Brenda regarding the migration was in writing. If she approached me in person, I would follow up with an email. Per our conversation at times, you directed me to instruction. "Please confirm." She usually confirmed, often with an impatient, one-word reply. These were golden. I reread the Apex Marketing Group Employee Handbook cover to cover. I found clauses on proper data handling, change management protocols, and specifically, the escalation procedures for high-risk operational shifts. I highlighted sections on due diligence and reasonable effort in the face of impossible directives. Crucially, I found a clause in the company bylaws about willful negligence on the part of a director leading to significant financial loss or client attrition. It stipulated that any director found guilty of such an action could be subject to immediate termination for cause and potential legal action to recover damages. I also revisited all our major client service level agreements. These documents were legally binding. They outlined uptime guarantees, data security standards, and response times for issues. More importantly, they specified significant financial penalties for breaches, sometimes running into the millions for major clients. Brenda was about to trip every single one of those wires. My team, exhausted and stressed, did their best. They worked through the entire weekend, fueled by lukewarm coffee and the grim determination to do something. We documented every single error message from Pinnacle Connect. We screen-recorded instances of data corruption during migration attempts. We timestamped every failed transfer. I instructed them to simply follow Brenda's orders to the letter, no matter how nonsensical. Malicious compliance was our new religion. The office on Monday morning was a scene of controlled chaos. Client Nexus was offline. Pinnacle Connect was live. Except it wasn't. It was dead on arrival. Thousands of client campaigns were down. Billing systems were frozen. Client portals displayed error messages or, worse, incorrect data. My phone rang off the hook. Client calls, angry and urgent. "Our campaign is offline. Our data is showing 0 conversions." Where did all our historical spend go? My team reported mass data corruption. Half of the migrated accounts were missing critical fields. Billing information was swapped. Marketing schedules vanished. Brenda stormed into my office, her face a mask of furious indignation. Alex, what in the blazes is going on? My phone hasn't stopped ringing. Clients are complaining about missing data and offline campaigns. This is your department's responsibility. I looked at her, my voice calm, almost unnervingly so. Brenda, as per your direct instructions, the full migration to Pinnacle Connect was completed over the weekend. My team followed your directives precisely. Precisely, she shrieked, her face turning crimson. This is a disaster. You clearly mismanaged the process. I explicitly told you to ensure a smooth transition. Did you, Brenda? I asked, my fingers already moving on my keyboard. I pulled up her email. On Friday at 4:37 p.m., you sent an email to my entire team stating, effective immediately, Client Nexus will be decommissioned. All active client data is to be migrated to Pinnacle Connect by 8 a.m. Monday morning. No exceptions, any disruptions will be attributed to a failure to follow this directive. I then projected the screen onto the large monitor on my wall. And here, I continued, is your response to my email at 5:02 p.m., warning you of the impossibility and the risks of data loss. Alex, your concerns are noted, but we must proceed. Operational agility demands it. Ensure compliance. No excuses. Her eyes darted nervously. That wasn't an order to break things. You were supposed to fix it. My team alerted you to the impossibility, I stated, pulling up a series of instant messages and emails from my team members to Brenda, each detailing specific technical hurdles and data corruption warnings, all time-stamped before the cutover. They asked for more time. They asked for training. They asked for parallel operation. Your responses were consistent. No, not an option, and find a way. And here, I said, displaying a video clip, is a screen recording of the Pinnacle Connect migration tool failing repeatedly on Saturday night, corrupting batches of data just as we predicted. We documented every single instance, cross-referenced with your direct directives to proceed despite the warnings. I then displayed a spreadsheet. This is a list of all active client accounts now compromised. Each one represents a direct breach of their service level agreement with Apex Marketing Group. The estimated financial penalties, just for today's downtime, exceed $2 million. This figure does not include potential client attrition or lawsuits for data breaches. The color drained from Brenda's face. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. The air in my office was thick with the scent of her impending doom. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. Within the hour, our global head of operations, a stern woman named Miss Davies, along with 2 corporate lawyers, were in Brenda's office. I heard raised voices, then an unnerving silence. I just sat at my desk, quietly answering client calls, routing them to the newly reactivated Client Nexus, which it had scrambled to bring back online. By lunchtime, Brenda was escorted out of the building by security. Her box of personal effects was surprisingly small. No farewells, no fanfare, just a swift, decisive eviction. The email announcement from Miss Davies was terse. Brenda Vance is no longer with Apex Marketing Group, effective immediately. We are taking all necessary steps to restore full service and address all client concerns. Alex Petrova will be overseeing all operational aspects of this recovery. The next few weeks were a blur of damage control, but it felt good to be back in charge, fixing problems I hadn't caused. The company took a hit, a significant one, but we recovered. Client Nexus was reinstated, albeit with increased security and new backup protocols. My team was exhausted but vindicated. Update 1. 3 weeks after Brenda's departure, I heard through the grapevine that she attempted to apply for unemployment benefits. Corporate HR, armed with my meticulous documentation, successfully contested it. The official reason cited was gross negligence and willful misconduct, leading to significant financial damage. She wouldn't be getting a severance package or a glowing recommendation. Update 2. 6 weeks later, Apex Marketing Group settled with a few of our larger clients for the service level agreement breaches. The total payout was substantial, but the internal investigation continued. The legal team concluded that Brenda's actions constituted a clear violation of her fiduciary duties. They initiated legal proceedings against her to recover some of the losses. It was unprecedented, but well-deserved. Update 3. 5 months later, I received an official notification. The lawsuit concluded. Brenda was found personally liable for a portion of the damages, specifically the direct costs incurred from her documented directives that ignored established policy and industry standards. Her assets were frozen. Her carefully cultivated career, built on a foundation of cutting corners, was utterly destroyed. Her efficiency bonuses were now just a distant, ironic memory. It turns out, sometimes, the rules are the most dangerous weapon of all.